I'm sorry that I made that comment. No, that was correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please.
All righty. Call the Public Infrastructure and Improvements Committee to order. Notice meeting was properly posted on April 7th. All three districts are present. Item one is our minutes of March the 28th.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
2, discuss possible action regarding replacement of ladders on the Annex roof at a cost of $68.87.
Good morning. The ladders that access the upper rooftops on top of the annex are deteriorating and have pulled away from their secure positions on the floor and the side of the building. Oklahoma Roofing is our OMES connection and have given us pricing to do this. Emergency management accesses those rooftops regularly to service things up on the antenna. They're afraid of heights, and the ladders will help.
How many ladders are there?
There's 2. There's one that accesses
That's good.
the main area, which is a larger ladder, and that ladder would come with a cage. So if anyone happened to lose their grip or footing or whatever, it's a safer arrangement, and you could position your body in such a way that you wouldn't fall.
So we have no cages now,
We
correct?
haven't.
Okay, thank you.
Keith, I see you've already got funds encumbered.
Yes.
Okay. So you just want a blessing to proceed?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
You're welcome, David Barnes.
Good job. You can just say aye. Aye. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Good. 3-0, I think. 3, discussing possible action to present a progress report on courthouse elevator upgrades.
As far as I know, the schedule hasn't moved markedly. 2 weeks one way or another of the start date sometime in June.
Any questions for Keith?
I move to receive the report.
Is there a second? Oh, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 4, discussing possible action regarding a new service agreement with Vicinity.
Don't have anything other than his last report, which is contract language is coming from their legal department. He did say, the manager, Todd Lewis at Trojan, did say that we could expect to get the same kind of billing structure until that time as we've enjoyed in the past.
What is the time frame on receipt of that language?
He wouldn't say.
Okay, and then we had asked you to begin to look at some preliminary numbers. Are we making progress there?
Yes, I've got some calls out, and I've got to get more information on the tonnage of the chillers that serve both the courthouse and the annex that were removed originally some 30 years ago. The boilers are in place. I don't know if they were mothballed at the time or if they've just been abandoned. We'll bring people in to assess what we've got to work with there and come up with some numbers.
Right. Questions for Keith? Motion to receive?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4, discussing possible action on capital projects specific to the TIF 2.
No report.
If y'all don't have questions, no action?
No.
6, discussing possible action on the TIF 2, TIF 2A, and TIF 8 budgets.
On the TIF 8 budget, we've turned in our last payment to the city. They're reviewing it right now to send us that last check. I'm projecting that the balance in that TIF 8, when it's all said and done, will be about $1.4 million. We're going to need to keep a couple $100,000 there to pay for asbestos crews as we do the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor HVAC project, which is already funded out of there. We'll have to continue to send reports to the city on our progress or lack thereof on that particular project. They track that because they front funded that, so they want to track their front funded money on the HVAC. So what this committee could do is be thinking about what you want to do with that $1.2 million. My recommendation is we move it over to what I'm calling 2A, which is our brand new TIF, to seed that particular TIF projects and get started on them.
All right, Stacy, you're not needing anything at this point though, right?
That would just kind of giving you that
Where?
report, and so
Okay.
you can be thinking about it. TIF 2 will be in a similar situation here in a few months when I send the last bill over there for that one. Then we'll just be down to the one TIF sometime in this calendar year.
Questions of Stacy?
No.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor to receive?
Aye.
Okay. 7, discussion possible action on XXX stabilization project.
Progress is going pretty well. They're finishing up the pavement on the roadway project this week, and we're having a pre-work or kickoff meeting for the mitigation project this afternoon to get the third and final project underway.
No questions.
Okay. Motion to receive?
Move to see report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 8, discuss possible action on capital improvements list. Stacy?
No changes.
Unless you have questions, no action. 9, discussing possible action regarding the transfer, maintenance, and repair of security infrastructure equipment. Mr. Monroe.
Purchasing has asked for help in an assessment of what we have currently. One vendor had asked that we provide a description, model, and serial number of the pieces of equipment, which I suppose we can do, but I would much rather have potential vendors come in, assess what we have, look at what we have. They're more aware of what new security pieces of equipment and methods are being used today. My worry is that if we provide them with this data, we're in some way describing what we want them to manage, and I don't know whether or not we would get any kind of a quote or a bid representative of what we actually want. Other than that, nothing new.
So, I'm sorry, Keith, you said that was from one potential provider, or was that from everybody that asked for those specific details? Or-
We're fielding questions from vendors as they come in, and basically when I met with Keith, we discussed that it was a better overall approach for vendors to come in and see the full situation and provide responses in that manner, not for specific equipment replacement or one particular avenue, but more of a full, complete scope of work.
I think it's a case where certainly we don't know what we don't know. And those professionals working in the industry can better tell us what we need and what's in current use today and what we can expect in the future.
So is this for equipment, a review of the equipment and systems currently in place, or that plus, oh, we're looking for somebody to manage this in the future?
I think that identify what we have, whether or not it is the best we can get. If there are other approaches that, if this is antiquated, would bring us into this century. This, like technology, I understand, changes all the time. And so rather than service what we have, perhaps someone might come in and say, look, we can put together a new package for you that does a better job, requires less people. Oh, and by the way, you might be able to lease this. When technology changes, you can certainly upgrade.
I'm all fine for a review of what we have because it's piecemeal.
Yeah.
And then us, once we have that, making a determination how we might want to proceed on from there. So that's what we're doing with this.
Yes,
Nothing more.
that's what we expect. That's what I expect,
All
at
right.
least, potential vendors.
Right? Is there
I'll move to receive the report.
a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 10, discuss possible action regarding an update on the Annex plumbing project.
We were able to get the structural engineer out. He's prepared a design. We received a bid on it, and looks like it's gonna fit our change order money. So I'll bring something to the BOCC as a form of a change order to get those structural repairs fixed. At the
Further
next
questions?
No.
Just one. More time necessary? Are we adding on to the
meeting. Well, yeah, we
completion date?
rightfully,
How
we
much?
should give them some time on the contract for the downtime they've had here. They haven't asked for any yet, but they are due some.
Is there an estimate on how much that time will be?
I don't have that right now.
You'll provide that when the BOCC does the change order?
Yes.
Thank you.
Also,
Sir?
the construction on the west end, as it relates to the bathroom, has created a dust problem where folks on the fourth floor in the court clerk's office have become sensitive to the amount of dust floating around. At this time of year, with the wind like it is, there's a positive pressure inside that column of bathrooms that pushes dust into the hallways and into the crawl spaces above the ceiling, between the ceiling and the deck. We're going to employ a vacuum system that will hopefully create a negative pressure and reduce the dust that enters the court clerk space.
Can we do that throughout the building since it's allergy season and the winds won't go below 30 and dust from everywhere is?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd ask.
I'll move to receive report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 11, discuss some possible action regarding potential use of the former OCSO Spencer Substation. And I believe that your development of the RFP is ongoing or it's on the streets. Pardon?
Ongoing.
What is the anticipated time that will be out?
Just trying to line up with meeting dates on that one, and to give everybody a few weeks at least to respond. I have a final review copy waiting to give to Keith after this meeting, so we can take a look at that.
Okay.
If it gets on the street this week, we can do a quick turnaround for the first week in May to get
Alright.
responses back by.
Awesome.
But I'm not
Thanks for
sure.
your
I
work.
haven't talked with Keith about time frame exactly.
Okay. Thank you. Motion to receive that update.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 12, discuss possible action to secure and decommission the social services building.
If you recall, social services is planned to occupy their space in JJC. We'll need to determine some course of action as to how you want the building currently in use decommissioned, HVAC systems, windows, roof, doors, other mechanical systems, and so on.
And the tenants? We have 2 tenants, RSVP and Task.
I'll have to have it.
Have they been notified that social services is leaving?
Christie could answer that. I don't know. I don't handle those relationships.
I can't hear you, Miles. Sorry.
I could have swore that Christie last time said that they hadn't come back since the pandemic and the evacuation of the building, RSVP and TAS. And I may have, I don't recall us redoing their lease, but I do recall her saying that they have not been back since the pandemic. And I'm pretty sure RSVP has moved to a spot.
Yeah, I'm
more
pretty sure
centrally
about that
located
too.
downtown. Now TASC, I'm not sure about. That one's,
Me neither.
that one's
Just,
interesting.
we'll confirm that
Yeah.
and then, because they do have leases. I didn't recall, but my memory's not great,
Right.
that we had done anything with the RSVP lease in terms of cancellation. Maybe
I
we
don't
did.
think that we canceled it. They just did not renew it. So for this last FY, I don't think that it was renewed. If it was, that's something.
I rewrote the lease. I'm pretty
Did you?
sure.
Okay. That was, I know that's one of Gretchen's favorite leases in the world.
whether they signed it and returned it, I'm not sure, but I know that we did.
Yeah,
go through
I rewrote both of
Yeah.
those leases, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
okay, all right.
we'll see.
And Keith, you'll develop a plan for decommissioning?
Yes.
And Stacy, we still have treasured resale that is in that area.
On the property in a different building, yes.
You can give us a legal description in the event the board were to want to potentially rid itself of that particular property,
Yeah.
once we
could do that.
evaluate whether or not it's in our best interest to hold on to it and then potentially have to rehab it in the future. Okay.
Yes,
Right.
and that brings up, I don't know how the electric is wired between the buildings, but you'll have to.
I don't know how that's metered either.
Okay.
So let me be certain I understand. We want to look at the treasurer's resale as well?
No.
Or-
What I'm saying is that they are located out there as well as the District 1 yard, but if we decommission
We want to make
social
sure the
services,
electricity stays on.
we need to, A, make sure
Yeah.
that the IT connections, they used to run all through social services. I don't believe that's the case anymore, but we need to ensure that nothing happens there.
Sure.
Nothing happens with the utilities to those two other locations.
I got it.
But in the event the board wanted to divest itself of that property, we need to identify what that footprint would be. And also, if we want to hold on to it, what we need to do to put it into mothballs and what we might expect in terms of reopening, so they can make an informed decision. Okay, thank you. All right,
I'll move to receive the report.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Discussing possible action on the Canadian River project near Wilshire.
If you'll recall, we hired a consultant in December to begin working towards a FEMA grant, similar to what we have at XXX. That work's been completed and turned in. We should hear back from the state in May, June timeframe, whether we're successful at getting the grant or not. It's looking pretty good, actually, that we might get that. In the meantime, we've heard from the Corps. Timing's not real good, but they're ready to move forward with their study, which would be a cost share with us. And we've always kind of kept them on parallel tracks, just so we wouldn't, not have a plan. It's not going to do any good for them to do the same project that the FEMA grant would be doing. You can't have two different federal funds in the same location. We've got a meeting Wednesday with all parties to try to figure out if the Corps can do maybe something to the north. So it'd be two separate locations, two separate projects, so we could be working with both federal agencies at the same time. But similar reach of the river, just two different locations.
Last time, and I might not remember this correctly, last time we met with the Corps, they were all excited and thought, oh yeah, this is a great fit.
That was about 2 people ago. They've had a
Right,
lot of turnover.
and there's been some changes. And we discussed at that time extending the limits of the study further to the north. So that's what
consistent with what we want to do.
you want to do here.
I just got to confirm that they're willing to do that, so we're not duplicating efforts on the same spot. I hate to turn the Corps down and we don't get the FEMA grant, but I hate to pay the money and then we get the grant, we've paid money we didn't need to. So the timing's not working out really good, but the good news is we still have a couple options out there.
All right, Stace, thank you.
Motion to receive.
Second, all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
14, discussing possible action regarding law library expansion. Hi, Benita.
We have finished phase 1 and we are ready to start phase 2. And we've worked with our purchasing director, has given us our guidelines that we needed to follow, and I've worked with Chris in getting our quotes and our bids.
And all your funding's secured, correct? Nothing from us other than go forth? Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
15, discussing possible action on the potential uses of the former OCSO substation, including but not limited to the potential
This is similar to the other item that Chantel's working on. Hers is more for a lease option. This is for a potential sale. I think District 2 has found someone interested in buying the location. So they want to know what your thoughts are about doing an appraisal and declaring surplus and everything we'd have to do along that statute for sale versus a lease.
Joe, my thought is if someone is interested, couldn't they just come through the process of leasing and even propose a lease to purchase? I know we can't do that, but you know, if we have a real potential buyer, isn't that the time to really go forward and look at that? Does that sound like a good course to proceed with on that?
The board has some specific steps they need to take, and I see Gretchen shaking her head.
It is a specific statute to sell. The board has to go through certain steps.
Right, we would have to declare it surplus first, prior to even an appraisal, I believe.
I don't remember that detail, which one goes first or if it matters, but
So it's possible.
both things have to be accomplished.
But it's possible to get appraisal before you declare surplus.
This runs through the courts. It is specific statute, first instance, first decision is whether it's surplus. Longer you get used to private, public, and then the court has to appoint 3 individuals to appraise it, and return that appraisal, file it with the court, and then you publish, you're going to sell this property to the highest bidder. Board has that mini auction in its regular schedule.
And I think maybe this is a public buyer.
And that would be either by sealed bid, it could be by sealed bid, correct, or in person, if I remember right.
No, it's sealed. They have to
It's sealed, okay.
sealed, but then if it went over, then there's a potential mini auction. There's a minimum, but if it's public, it's different.
Yeah, and I think this might be a public buyer, so. There's still statutes you have to follow, but it's a little bit different.
Well, we're about to issue an RFP, and we'll have responses to that, people believing that they might be in a position to lease the building. And then should the board determine that they do want to declare it surplus, it seems problematic to me that, and would create confusion for those that are going to reply to our RFP. And I'm not certain. Over time, you would probably collect more in rent than what you would receive in a one-time purchase agreement, but I don't know that for certain. But
We wouldn't know until we got back the
no, but the general,
responses.
I mean, generally, I think you're better off to collect rent, but I don't know.
We're still in full control once we get the returns or the submissions to the RFP, correct? If we,
No,
get-
I'm sorry.
well, say we have 3 bidders for the RFP, we
Sure,
think that at that time it might be
The board could determine they don't want to
move forward with any
move
of them.
forward with any of that and pursue an alternative course of action.
Yeah,
Sure.
and that's my point. I think information is always a good thing.
Right, but what I think is we can't take that step to get information without declaring the property surplus.
That's
Because
my understanding from, yeah. You mean as far as appraisal, correct?
right, so
Yeah.
you I think we've got it. Thank you. So is there a motion on this item?
I'm not going to declare a motion to declare it to forward with declaring it surplus.
Okay,
So
just
discussion.
receive the discussion.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Charles.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, citizens participation. Board comments, District 3?
None?
Welcome.
Thank you.
None, welcome, none.
Okay, new business. Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. Call the PBA Advisory Committee to order. Notice the meeting was properly posted on April the 7th. Item 1 is to approve the minutes of March 28th.
Move that we receive the minutes.
Second.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2, discuss possible action on the ICB exterior envelope project.
Just one little new item that you'll see on the next PBA agenda. One of our out-of-town experts has submitted an additional bill above and beyond the contracted amount, and we're going to determine how to pay for that.
Okay.
Surprise.
Is there a motion to receive that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3, discussion possible action on security for the ICB.
Really nothing new there.
Okay, questions? No action. 4, discuss possible action on rental rates for ICB.
Last time you'd asked me to come up with the applicable change in the CPI, and it is 2.2% would be the applicable measure of the increase.
And then in keeping with the way that we've traditionally done these increases, we would see that larger increase if the board were so inclined next go around.
That's correct.
Okay.
What's the next go around?
June 30. The next
Oh.
FY, at the conclusion of the upcoming FY for the following. Okay. Have some time on this, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to receive Keith's information?
Yeah, so moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5 is rental rates for the Lincoln properties. I assume that is the same 2.1?
Yes. 2.2, yes.
2.2, I apologize. Okay. Motion to receive.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6 is Kraus. So it would be the
Assuming
same.
anybody has to pay rent for that, yes, 2.2% would be the measure across the board.
I'll move to receive report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 7, parking rates for Metro.
Metro parking is still the most attractive structure for parking closest to the courthouse and the annex. We're at $8 a day. I think I provided you with this information last time. I don't know if there's any need to change those rates today.
Okay. Any questions of Keith?
No, I'll move to receive report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Citizen participation? Board comments? District 1? None. District 2?
No.
District 3?
None?
And new business? Adjourn.
Motion so moved.
Second.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.